Yo, what's going on, guys? Hope you're all doing well. So recently, I was looking at some of my comments and some of my videos that feature vocals, particularly the iDress video, and it seems a lot of you want to know how I got the vocal sound on that track. And I know I don't usually delve into the vocals, it's kind of usually just an extra thing at the end. I'm mostly focusing on the instrumentation. But today, I thought I'd make a video showing some of the ways to get that lo-fi, indie, and as some even described, shoegazy vocal sound. But before we get into things, I do want to mention that the best way to support the channel is by checking out my online shop. We can get drum kits, loops, and mixing and guitar tone presets, as well as other things to help make your music. And I've decided to discount my everything bundle, which includes everything site-wide for the next few months. So if you want to support the channel, please check it out. Now, let's get on with the video. So firstly, before we take a look at the effects and the mixing process, let's take a look at everything going into the actual recording. Because if your source material sucks, it's likely that it's going to be very difficult to make it sound good or how you want. So it's best to get a take that sounds as close to how you want without any effects on it or any mixing processes. So let's start with that. So best way to start with that is the thing that's going to be capturing all of the sounds, and that is the microphone. So we have a few options for that, and some that you aren't really going to expect. So if you're like me and willing to do whatever it takes to get a sound, you can wire up a microphone out of an old landline, kind of like this. See, I put a guitar jack on it, and this is just unbeatable. It's the ultimate lo-fi sounding microphone. So let me just show you how this thing sounds.
See, it just sounds like the ultimate lo-fi crappy microphone sound. Pretty much unbeatable if you're willing to go through that effort. It's not really that hard if you have some like basic soldering skills. You might not even need to solder, you could probably just twist the connections on the wires, but it's way easier than it may seem. So I really actually recommend giving this a try. But yeah, let's get on to the next microphone option.
So a little hack for a similar sound is taking your headphones and plugging it into the microphone input of your interface. Weird, I know, but just check this out.
See, it's a pretty similar sound. Bet you didn't know you could do that. Obviously, there are some difference. This is quite a bit boomier and a bit more cumbersome because I'm speaking into a set of headphones right now. Might not be the best for getting the best vocal performance, but definitely something you can try and definitely has that kind of lo-fi thing going for it.
Alright, but if you are reluctant to do both of the things I just mentioned, a simple condenser microphone like this one will usually do you the trick. But with this, I try to stay a bit further from the microphone just so there's less harshness and loudness in the mic. Look into the proximity effect if you want to know more about this. Basically, the closer you are to the mic, the more low frequencies you're going to get, and I kind of wanted a more high-end, kind of airy sound. So now let's step out of the recording realm and into the box. So let's take a look at some of the other things I did to get this vocal sound. So for the basic mix, it's pretty simple. I've got an EQ, I've got a preamp. I personally really like this tuba plugin. Then I've got Rough Rider, which is just a compressor. And I'm mainly using compression here to kind of add color and just to kind of keep the vocals very tight. And I've got another compressor, some EQ cutting the low end. And now onto the secret sauce, or actually just the key to the vocal sound, and that is lots of fucking reverb. So here we've got reverb with this large space sound, and then we've got hybrid reverb in Ableton, which is like a convolution reverb, and we're getting another hall sound. We're cutting a lot of low end from that, cutting a little bit of highs to give it that old telephone kind of sound. And then finally, we've got a room reverb sound. So in total, we've got 3 different reverbs. So I'll play you the vocals without the reverb.
Avoid. Always try to avoid.
Try to fill out the noise. I try to fill up the void.
See, it just sounds pretty boring and plain, and now when we add all that reverb back,
I always try to avoid. Try to fill out the noise. I try to fill up the void. But I'm afraid of your voice.
see, just immediately we have that super washed out, nice lo-fi vocal sound. Something I would recommend playing with on the reverbs that'll kind of give you this sound is the decay. If you have a nice long decay, it kind of fills out the empty space in between the words and the vocals, which creates this hazy sound that a lot of you guys were commenting on. So yeah, experiment with this effect. Maybe try it out on more than just vocals too. I'd love to hear what you guys come up with. So I hope you learned something from this and feel inspired. If you liked the video, please leave a like. If you really liked it, please consider subscribing. And if you want to support the channel, again, please check out my online shop, and I'll see you guys in the next one. Peace.